Most people will never build wealth because they're following broken advice. They're told to invest in index funds for 30 years, cut out their daily coffee, and hope compound interest saves them. Meanwhile, they're stuck in the same financial position year after year, wondering why nothing changes. Here's the truth nobody wants to tell you. Real wealth building isn't about adding more strategies to your life. It's about strategic elimination. It's about creating a financial vacuum where your old spending habits used to be, then filling that space with assets that actually generate money. I'm going to show you a 6-year wealth plan that works through subtraction, not addition. 3 phases that create financial freedom by removing the right things at the right time. This isn't about getting rich quick. It's about getting rich right. Phase 1, the identity purge. The first phase is the hardest because it requires you to kill the version of yourself that's been keeping you broke. Most people skip this phase entirely, which is why they never build wealth. They try to add income streams while still funding their consumer identity and wonder why they're spinning their wheels. Your consumer identity is the collection of spending habits, subscriptions, and lifestyle choices that drain your income before it can become wealth. It's the gym membership you don't use, the streaming services you forgot about, the car payment that eats 30% of your income. It's the social activities that cost money you don't have, and the status purchases that make you feel successful while keeping you broke. The identity purge starts with a brutal audit of where every dollar goes. Not just the big expenses, but every subscription, every impulse purchase, every time you pay for convenience instead of doing something yourself. Most people discover they're spending thousands of dollars per month on things that add zero value to their lives. Here's where the psychological resistance kicks in. Your brain will tell you that cutting these expenses means you're depriving yourself, that you're becoming cheap, that you're sacrificing your quality of life. This is identity homeostasis protecting your old self. Your consumer identity doesn't want to die, so it creates emotional resistance to change. The solution is strategic disappearance from expensive social circles and activities. If your friends always want to go to expensive restaurants, you strategically become unavailable for those activities. If your social life revolves around spending money, you need new social activities that don't require constant cash outflow. This isn't about becoming antisocial. It's about recognizing that your current social patterns are wealth-destroying patterns. Now comes the 70% rule, which is the foundation of the entire 6-year plan. You live on 70% of your current income, no matter what you're making. The other 30% goes toward building your wealth foundation. This isn't negotiable. If you're making $4,000 per month, you live on $2,800 and save $1,200. If you're making $10,000 per month, you live on $7,000 and save $3,000. Most people think they can't live on 70% of their income, but that's because they've never tried. They've inflated their lifestyle to consume 100% of whatever they make, sometimes more. The identity purge reveals how much of that spending was unnecessary consumption disguised as necessity. The key is creating a financial vacuum before trying to fill it with income streams. If you don't eliminate the spending patterns first, any extra money you make will just get absorbed by lifestyle inflation. You'll make more money and somehow still feel broke because your expenses expanded to match your income. Track every dollar during this phase. Use whatever system works for you, but track everything. The goal isn't just to see where money goes, it's to understand the emotional triggers that cause you to spend. Most spending is emotional spending disguised as logical spending. You buy things to feel better, to reward yourself, to solve problems that money can't actually solve. The identity purge takes 1 to 2 years because changing spending patterns requires rewiring neural pathways. Your brain has to create new associations with money, new definitions of success, new ways of feeling good about yourself that don't involve spending. This is why most wealth-building advice fails. It focuses on making more money without addressing the psychological patterns that cause people to spend whatever they make. By the end of phase 1, you should have eliminated all unnecessary expenses, established the 70% rule as your new normal, and accumulated a significant amount of money that would have otherwise been spent on consumer items. More importantly, you've killed the consumer identity that was keeping you broke and created space for a new identity to emerge. Phase 2, the skill investment. Now that you've created financial space through the identity purge, it's time to fill that vacuum with something that generates wealth. This is where most people make their second critical mistake. They take the money they've saved and try to diversify it across multiple investments, multiple side hustles, multiple income streams. They spread themselves thin and master nothing. Phase 2 is about channeling every dollar you've saved into developing one high-value skill or acquiring one wealth-generating asset. The key word here is one, not 3 skills, not 5 different investment strategies, not 7 different side hustles. One skill that you develop to an elite level over the next 24 months. The skills that create wealth are skills that compound. Sales is a compounding skill because every conversation teaches you something about human psychology that makes the next conversation more effective. Marketing is compounding because every campaign gives you data that improves future campaigns. Coding compounds because each project builds on previous knowledge and creates reusable systems. Real estate knowledge compounds because each deal teaches you something that makes future deals easier to identify and execute. Here's what doesn't compound: trading your time for money in a linear fashion. Working more hours at your current job doesn't compound. Driving for rideshare services doesn't compound. Most traditional part-time jobs don't compound because you're selling hours, not building systems that generate money while you sleep. The skill you choose should pass the leverage test. Can this skill eventually generate income without your direct involvement in every transaction? Can you build systems around this skill that scale beyond your personal time investment? If the answer is no, choose a different skill. Let's say you choose sales as your wealth-building skill. You don't just read books about sales and watch YouTube videos. You get a sales job even if it pays less than your current job initially. You invest your saved money in sales training, sales coaching, sales conferences. You spend your evenings practicing sales conversations, studying your industry, building relationships with potential clients. The 10,000-hour principle applies here, but you're applying it strategically. You're not just putting in random hours hoping to get better. You're deliberately practicing the specific aspects of sales that generate the highest returns. You're measuring your progress not just by how much you know, but by how much money your knowledge generates. Most people dabble. They spend a few hours per week learning something new and wonder why they never become expert enough to generate serious money from it. Elite skill development requires obsession-level focus. You eat, sleep, and breathe your chosen skill for 24 months. During this phase, you're also building your network within your chosen field. Not random networking where you collect business cards from strangers. Strategic networking where you connect with people who are already successful in your chosen skill area. You want to learn from people who are generating the kind of income you want to generate. The money you save during Phase 1 funds this skill development. You invest in courses, coaching, equipment, software, whatever tools are necessary to accelerate your learning curve. This isn't an expense, it's an investment in your future earning capacity. The difference is that expenses consume money while investments generate returns. You also start creating systems that can generate income while you sleep or scale beyond your time. If you're developing marketing skills, you build automated marketing funnels. If you're learning real estate, you create systems for finding and analyzing deals. If you're mastering sales, you develop lead generation systems that bring prospects to you. The goal by the end of Phase 2 isn't just to have developed a valuable skill. The goal is to have that skill generating income that exceeds what you were making before you started the 6-year plan. Your skill should be producing enough money to maintain your 70% lifestyle while also providing surplus capital for Phase 3. Measure your progress through income generation, not just skill acquisition. You can be incredibly knowledgeable about something and still be broke if that knowledge doesn't translate into money-generating systems. The market doesn't pay you for what you know. It pays you for the value you create with what you know. By the end of Phase 2, you should have one elite-level skill that generates significant income through systems that can scale beyond your personal time investment. Phase 3, the leverage explosion. This is where the magic happens. You've eliminated your consumer identity, developed an elite skill, and created income-generating systems. Now you deploy everything you've built to create multiple streams of wealth that compound exponentially. The leverage explosion isn't about starting over with new skills. It's about taking the one skill you've mastered and multiplying its impact through systems, people, and technology. If you've become elite at sales, you don't just sell more. You build a sales team, create sales training programs, develop products that teach others to sell. You leverage your expertise across multiple channels simultaneously. The money you accumulated during Phases 1 and 2 becomes your leverage capital. This isn't money you spend on lifestyle upgrades or consumer purchases. This is investment capital that you deploy strategically to amplify your income-generating skill. You might invest in better technology that automates parts of your process. You might hire people to handle the parts of your business that don't require your elite skill. You might acquire assets that complement your core expertise. Here's the critical difference between Phase 3 and what most people do with extra money. Most people immediately upgrade their lifestyle when their income increases. They move to a bigger apartment, buy a nicer car, start eating at expensive restaurants again. This destroys the leverage potential of their increased earnings. During Phase 3, you maintain the same 70% lifestyle rule, but now you're applying it to a much higher income. If your skill development has taken you from making $50,000 per year to making $150,000 per year, you still live on 70% of your income. But now you're living on $105,000 while investing $45,000 annually into wealth-building assets. The goal is to create passive income streams that eventually exceed your living expenses. Passive income isn't money you earn while sitting on a beach doing nothing. Passive income is money generated by systems you've built that don't require your direct involvement in every transaction. Your sales training course sells while you sleep. Your real estate investments generate rental income whether you're working or not. Your marketing agency runs through systems and employees you've trained. Scale becomes your obsession during this phase. Every system you build should be designed to handle 10 times more volume without requiring 10 times more of your personal time. If you can handle 100 clients with your current systems, your goal is to build systems that can handle 1,000 clients with only minimal increases in your time investment. This is where most people plateau because they try to scale themselves instead of scaling their systems. They work more hours instead of building better processes. They handle everything personally instead of training others to execute their methods. They become the bottleneck in their own wealth-building machine. Technology becomes your force multiplier. Whatever skill you've developed, there are technological tools that can amplify its impact. Marketing automation software can deliver your message to thousands of people simultaneously. Project management systems can coordinate complex processes without your constant oversight. Communication tools can maintain relationships with hundreds of contacts without consuming your entire day. You also start preparing for the identity shift from wealth builder to wealth maintainer. The skills that build wealth aren't necessarily the same skills that preserve wealth. Building wealth requires aggressive risk-taking and obsessive focus on growth. Preserving wealth requires more conservative strategies and broader diversification. By year 6, your passive income should exceed your living expenses. This is true financial freedom, not the ability to buy whatever you want, but the ability to maintain your lifestyle without trading your time for money. You've created a wealth-generating machine that runs independently of your daily involvement. Real wealth building happens through strategic elimination, not endless addition. Most people fail because they skip the identity purge and try to build wealth while still funding their consumer habits. They add income streams without removing income drains and wonder why they never get ahead. The 6-year plan works because it addresses the psychological patterns that keep people broke, not just the financial mechanics. Start with phase 1 immediately. Don't plan phase 2 until you've completed phase 1. Subscribe for more wealth-building strategies that actually work.